Screaming Jay Hawkins performing "I'll Put a Spell on You" in the nightclub as Robin Givens seduces and entrances innocent Forest Whitaker here in this hot, lusty, sweaty, bumping, grinding, pulling panties to the side, let me slide through, jumping jack, jukebox, juke joint energy. It's giving fiery pits of hell. Guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Tyra here with another struggle review, here to discuss A Rage in Harlem. Now, this movie is from 1991 and it stars Forest Whitaker, Robin Givens, and Gregory Hines. Now, before we get into all things, girl, you so fine, I drink your bath water, I need you guys to drop down and subscribe to my channel and like this video. I'm going to give you guys a moment to do that, then we're going to come back and discuss all things. Every baby needs a daddy to keep her worry free. Na, 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 na. Every baby needs a daddy. So where's the one for me? That's what it was giving.
Go back.
Now that you guys have hopefully subscribed to see more of me, let's get into this movie. But before we jump into the video, I have to give a shout out to the person who paid for and requested this movie. So if you happen to give a little shoulder and take it right back, it's not because of me, it's because of this person right here. Thank you so much for supporting me and paying for this content. Now, getting into this movie was directed by Bill Duke. It is an amazing month when we get to talk about Bill Duke twice in 1 week. Not only directing this film, but directing Sister Act 2 that I will be talking about this Sunday. I don't think he gets a ton of praise as a director because he's mostly known for his acting capabilities, but he does a really good job, not only with this movie and films like Sister Act 2, but also with my other faves, Harlem, and a film that I've already discussed on the channel. I will leave the link for that below, Deep Cover. He does a really excellent job relaying what's in the script to the big screen, offering this lovely cinematic experience through the music, the costuming, cinematography. He never misses an opportunity to give a vibe and world build with his characters. Come outside, Bill Duke. Y'all gonna give my man some flowers or no? The movie is also based on a book of the same name written by Black author Chester Himes, who wrote many novels, including a Black detective series from the 1940s to the early 80s. He covered different genres and often surrounded Black people in his writing. With his novels not only inspiring movies such as A Rage in Harlem, but we also got Cotton Comes to Harlem and Come Back Charleston Blue. Fire. Now we are thrown into 1956 Mississippi and we are introduced to the beautiful Robin Givens here as Emma Bell. Now, of course, prior to this, she had done a whole lot of television work and she was also known for her small role in Women of Brewster Place, but this was her really first breakout, predominant leading role in a film. And she is nothing short of amazing here as that classic 40s and 50s neo-noir film fatale. It's giving Rita Hayworth, it's giving Ava Gardner, it's giving, but let's make it Black Barbie. She literally looks like a walking Barbie doll with her size, her frame, and her cheekbones. That exuding appeal, that sex pot energy that she gives throughout the entirety of the movie with that wardrobe, it's literally giving frame by frame. Robin Givens has literally been giving pressure for 35 years. Now, immediately when this movie came on, I was overwhelmed with how much I missed the 90s and the 80s movies with black casts being fully fleshed out and jam-packed with so many actors and actresses that it was just appeasing and dancing to the eye to see so much unison all in one film. Because Pop Goes the Weasel is very much so, I think it's time to hear that pop. Badja Djola has been giving menacing ass energy ever since he was trying to take 2 sweet cookies as half dead in penitentiary. If you know, you know. Movies used to be jam-packed with as many black actors as possible, from bit parts to larger parts. I really miss seeing a lot of us on screen at once. But after a shootout over this goal, Bella runs away with it, assuming the menacing, controlling Slim is dead right along with the rest of his gang. We begin the dreadful journey with this trunk of gold that everybody wants, but no one necessarily needs. From Slim to easy money to Bell, it becomes all about greed and obsession, believing that once they turn this trunk of gold into cash, all will be right with the world, things will be life-changing because they will now be wealthy. When most of them are currently thieves, corrupted, murderers, materialistic degenerates, with everybody else falling somewhere in between. Though all of them are mostly driven by ego and greed, half of them already have a sense of opulence, wealth, and luxury, but they just simply want more because they are never satisfied with what they have. When in actuality, the goal was never going to be meant for prosperity because it was ill-gotten in the first place, murdered for, and stolen by Slim to begin with. Now, I myself am not a super religious person, but this movie does feel like one big biblical reference, mostly symbolic for hell. This constant presence of red within the film, everyone seeming so sweaty, so hot, all of this constant lust. Ooh, girl, you're so fine, I'll sop you up with a biscuit. Girl, I'll suck you like a neck bone. I mean, just go ahead and put it in for me, sugar. Girl, whenever, wherever, and however, the detectives that are running around trying to catch and bag everybody are literally named Gravedigger Jones and Coffin Ed. There is literally a con and scam at every single turn. Screaming Jay Hawkins performing "I'll Put a Spell on You" in a nightclub as Robin Givens seduces and entrances innocent Forest Whitaker here in this hot, lusty, sweaty, bumping, grinding, pulling panties to the side, let me slide through, jumping jack, jukebox, juke joint energy. It's giving fiery pits of hell. With Forest Whitaker here as our lead, Jackson, I really miss him as an actor. I started thinking about and referencing all of his roles, the ones that I love, the ones that I remember. No 2 roles are the same. A lot of people act, but a lot of people can't transform and be a character actor. He is really good at that. Jackson in that photo of Jesus next to his mother over his bed, who still has control over him beyond the grave. Jackson presents himself to be holier than thou, especially in comparison to most of the people in Harlem who seem to be only full of deception. He has manners, he's virginal, pure, and untainted, not only by sex and lust, but by greed, drugs, and alcohol. He's respectful, often really apologetic, he's honest, disciplined, has faith beyond measures, praying on a regular, all while focusing on his job as a bookkeeper and an undertaker's assistant. But unfortunately, the closest connection that Jackson has to a person is to the dead bodies that he constantly cares for. According to Jackson, he is holier than thou, and he is surrounded by nothing but heathens. The term "no good deed goes unpunished" comes to mind when you see him. He has absolutely no real friends, and a half-brother here portrayed by the legendary Gregory Hines that he wants nothing to do with. Goldie is not only a numbers runner, but he is a lying, sinning, hoodlum fornicator who is willing to dress up as a priest and sell people a false sense of security and religion through tickets to heaven, stealing their money in the process. Goldie seems to not have one real ounce of morality outside of only caring about money. Getting into the biblical themes within this movie, or something like Tickets to Heaven, this movie really does a good job at showing how much somebody is willing to pay and coax some people into placing all of their hopes on prayer, faith, and church, believing that they have to do nothing on their own and that Jesus is an instant fix. That naive, gullible, wide-eyed Jackson is absolutely, at first, a slave to his very own religion, keeping his distance, constantly being judgmental of everyone that he feels like doesn't walk the same righteous path that he does. But this leaves him often isolated, boxed in to where he has no room to blossom as a person or even partake in the smallest joys of life. No fun, laughter, love, friendships, not just solely out of the fear and complex of, I can't hang out with you guys, I don't want to end up like any of you, but there's this superiority happening. I'm low-key better than all y'all. Everybody is a heathen. It's really reminiscent of, the church and that whole propaganda that is pushed of this superiority complex because I'm here and you're not. All of that. Meanwhile, with no room for error within Jackson's life, he doesn't really know himself. He hasn't experienced anything. He is hella gullible enough to fall for the banana in the tailpipe. A oven scam, the blowout scam that promises something like turning $1,500 into $15,000. Easygoing, even easier at trusting, but even easier to deceive. Can't see no forest but no trees. Meanwhile, we don't even notice some of the redeemable qualities in somebody like our half-brother Goldie. Even though Goldie is a hot mess, Goldie is a whole hot, greedy mess within this movie, especially in pursuit of that gold himself. But we also have a little bit of an undercode when it comes to him running numbers, even with the likes of Easy Money's foot on my neck in a promise to push one of my clients down the stairs. I'm not with any of that. If you play a number with me and you win, I'm going to give a payout. And you see that even bigger strand of him having a real connection with someone like Big Kathy. Big Kathy runs the hoe house. There's constant soliciting, prostitution, and a good time. There's an endless flow of money, scams, everything that Goldie loves, along with that connection that he has to Kathy, who acts as head madam, I am in charge of the girls, who is also male but cross-dresses as a woman. Big Kathy is not only a friend to Goldie, but he's a maternal figure at times, a brother at times, super duper protective. We are family. Why do you have to be in pursuit of this gold? Why aren't you content with what we have? Goldie literally wants for nothing, but is unhappy with himself and his life, so he craves and wants more. And as long as he does, the devoted Big Kathy is going to be there to protect him. In walks Bella, who has a trunk full of gold, beauty to the gods, but not a single dime in her pockets. She has this gold, but she wants so badly to be rid of it via Easy Money, who has no real honor, isn't to be trusted, and has no real connection outside of anybody or anything besides his loving dog. Now, though Belle is as equally in corruption and greed as the men who are surrounding her, and she just appears as this temptress devil in a red dress, ready to deceive, to get over and get that payout no matter what she has to do, I really love what she represents here in comparison to the gold that she is lugging around, hoping for that big payout to change her life. She is the equivalent of what that gold represents to all the men that want it: greed, lust, and obsession. Easy Money doesn't simply want to do an exchange for the money. He instantly likes the way she looks and lusts after her. From the time that we meet her, she is merely an object of affection, arm candy, a possession, a beautiful thing to be obtained and placed on a shelf, leaving her to not really fully know her self-worth, to the point that she is just as bad and just as much as a user as the man that she no longer want to be connected to. In walks naive Jackson, the entrapment and the seduction, because a girl like me needs a place to stay. I need somewhere to sleep. But this is also the beginning stages of Jackson becoming human, flawed, like everybody else. However, it's still done in the most Jackson way possible. It's not just simply lust for her. It's more like he idolizes her as if he would his own mother or even Jesus himself, placing her on this goddess-like pedestal of worship, offering to rub her feet, allowing her to take on his apartment and sleep in his bed, really trying to keep his hands off of her, resist temptation, have a conversation with her, when all the while she is a whole cat in heat, on the prowl in that red dress in that bed. However, Jackson has already given her what she wants and what she needs at that moment. Why is she still trying to sleep with him? Still offering her body up to the virginal Jackson, because once again, she doesn't really know herself beyond what all of these men proclaimed her to be. We have no self-worth, but we feel like we will find it in the money for that goal, as well as power, and maybe then she'll have autonomy over her own body. Child, by the time the James Brown please, please, please comes on and Jackson takes down those pictures of his mama and Jesus and licks them cheeks, he is beyond satisfied and human, but he is obsessed. He is devoted, all the way to the point that he is willing to pledge marriage to her. He is in love with her and knows absolutely nothing about her. Rocked his whole little world. But I also really love that scene because even though she is clearly trying to use her feminine wiles to take advantage of someone like Jackson, you also see that she is very much satisfied with their sex and feels a sense of security and completion, not in the way that we see her later when she is having sex with Slim and it's not, something's wrong. Something's not feeling right. There's that sense of her being just solely used for her body and used for the sex, and she's not really doing it for herself. And more so a tool for this man to fulfill his sexual peak rather than somebody really genuinely adoring and caring about hers. Though Jackson seems like a nice guy and somebody who genuinely cares for her, this doesn't sway her in a bit or deter her from her plans, because just like all of the other men, Jackson does not treat her like a real person. He merely treats her as an object. And once again, he's another person who doesn't know her beyond her body. Afraid and haunted, she reverts right back into her role when Slim catches up to her. Once Jackson meets Amabella, this cowardly, naive, super sanctified man commits every single sin imaginable in pursuit of her and this idol worship that he wants to bestow on her, thinking that he's saving her from the likes and the grips of someone like Slim, who, though Jackson is completely lost in her sauce, shows promise due to the fact that she linked up with Jackson with ill intentions, but leaves with the cross from his mother that she didn't want to take in the beginning. This is not only a sign to Jackson, but a sign to the audience that maybe she wants more than just that money. She wants more than to just be some objectified sexual plaything for Slim or anybody else for that matter. Maybe she doesn't even want to be some deceptive, deceiving woman herself. Maybe she just simply wants to be free, being as equally possessive and controlling and wanting Isabella just as all the men that he despises and is trying his best to keep her away from. He is also envious at the fact that Slim even has her, just like easy money. Child, we stealing $200. We are full of, sexual tension and lust. I love you, like you just met her like yesterday. We are being a greedy glut. We are drinking. We are at the bar throwing back all of this whiskey, descending deeper into this deep, dark, seedy underbelly of Harlem hell that he has tried to stay away from and has been so judgmental of the entirety of his life. Surround himself with these demons to get to her. But within all of that, or even the running themes of religion within this movie, there is really some deep silver lining that says you have to go through something to get to something. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's, holier than thou. Everybody sins. And in Jackson sinning, he figures out who he is. We also have him do in this movie, in his search for her, what he never wanted to do in the beginning. reconnect with his half-brother. Both despising each other, but both actually at this moment having something in common. The fact that they both endlessly pursue something that they desire and don't actually need. When I tell you Big Kathy was the only real one who had some real sense. Though selfish, it's only now that we have these two brothers come together and identify what's really important in their lives and grow as men. Jackson discovers who he is beyond his holy persona, child knocking down doors, jumping over rooftops, and Goldie shows care beyond the wealth that he is so anxious to have, going after Jackson after he is distraught at thinking that he's lost Emma Bell for the second time. Finally owning up and apologizing for not attending his own mother's funeral. I love the fact that he says, I know what you all think of me. It was giving church, like, I know what you all say and how you feel about me. I didn't want to bring shame upon the family by showing up to her funeral. He is really having a valued moment with his brother, a selfless moment with his brother. The gold is in the trunk, child. We could have sped off, but I'm not leaving my brother here. But in pursuit of that goal, we lose another brother. We lose Big Kathy. Taking Emma Bell hostage for revenge, we find out that she was the mastermind behind the whole robbery for the gold in the first place. She has been the brains behind the operation, but all the while underestimated and used, strictly cast aside because she's a woman. Unlike Slim, who is an absolute hothead, who ruins the deal with easy money just as they are about to make the exchange, all behind his ego being on full display, just at the fact that easy money keeps insinuating that he is lusting, wanting, and needing him some Emma Bell. That's my woman. How dare you? Not only are we gonna have a shootout, and not only do I want the money, but I want the gold as well. But in the end, we have everybody's character really come full circle and grow into themselves outside of the gold. Even when we are getting into Goldie, though he is upset, he shows a bit of compassion for Emma Bell. Even though we're trying to go half, we are still not willing to shoot her to get to Slim, or not willing to endanger our brother's lives, asking him to leave. You have nothing to do with this. You're better than this. Putting somebody and something first besides himself and besides that money. And then we get into good old Holy Jackson. Jackson, who was so ready to lie down his life and die for her, realizes in that moment, I can also fight for you, but I can also be myself, combining this courage and who I am now along with my faith. And via my faith, I cannot kill this man. And yet again, I don't want to be another man within her life who was committing murder. For the most part of the film, Emma Bell is a whole lot of things, but she is really against watching somebody die. You have her go against her morals, seeing that Jackson could die here. I have to do what I never want to see and what I've never wanted to be a part of. I have to commit murder, shooting Slim to protect Jackson. This is the first real selfless act as far as Jackson that she does. And it's not all about him being her savior. Not only does she sacrifice for Jackson, but she also saves herself. I love how we see that ultimate change in Jackson in the end, not only with him combining his faith with who he is now, but him also being sure to put his brother's well-being forward and not just simply thinking about Emma Bell at that moment and running off with the money that is now in her possession, that he is trusting her with to Goldie's dismay. But is Emma Bell to be trusted? Is she gonna run off with that money? Did she ever care about Jackson, who is now in jail? Was he wrong about her the entire time? Nope. Beyond all the lust, he was right about her character. Not only does she leave money to him, but she leaves some to Goldie as well, running away assuming that he's too good for me. I absolutely love the way that the movie ends off. him handing over that portion of money to his brother, saying, "Brother, God bless you," them embracing each other in the way that they never would have before, especially when we have Jackson get on that train. This is the first real moment that he is open to the idea of genuinely getting to know her. We even have her say, "You don't really know me. Why are you traveling back all the way to Mississippi with me?" And I love that reference to when they first initially meet and he is willing to lust and pander and pant and adorn and rub her feet. And he suggests, does anybody rub any real good feet in Mississippi? Because my feet need to be rubbed, girl. I'm tired. Let's talk about me right now. You put them little feet up. It was so freaking adorable. Every single character comes full circle and gets to know who they truly are beyond the hellish Harlem. Well, you guys, that was my review for A Rage in Harlem. I hope you enjoyed it. Please drop down and tell me if you did. Have you ever seen this film? What is your favorite scene? What is your takeaway from this review? I so look forward to reading your comments. Please be sure to like, share, sub, all that good stuff. You know what it is, because that helps me out. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I see you guys next time. Bye.